Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Radiantly Shining Heroes, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 / Gamma 1 exchange unit, and just how well they do in the Fearsome Activation, discuss how they do in harder events, and basically just discuss them in general. Now this is a unit that I actually really like, but I notice a lot of people don't like them so much, but I actually really like them. I think, their biggest issue is links. I think realistically that's probably what holds them back in a lot of people's eyes, but we'll talk about it. So basically, to cut a long story short, they are a superheroes category lead, 200% superheroes, very strong category. They raise attack and defense on their 12 key, greatly raise attack and defense on their 18 key. Then they have 3 different states. You got the Gamma 1, Gamma 2 original state, which is pretty cool. They're 50% support. They have 30% crit chance per INT key sphere that they obtain, and launch guaranteed super attack per INT key sphere obtained. This is where I think a lot of people fall down. They get a chance of a critical hit plus 12% and launch an additional attack. There's a great chance of becoming a super attack per AGL strength key sphere, so that's your backup if you don't have an INT. And then they get additional attack and defense of 50% and damage reduction to 30% starting from the turn in which they perform their 3rd attack in battle. In this base form, getting 2 INT key spheres or 2 strength or AGL key spheres basically means that they will have their 30% by the end of their 3rd attack, which means by the end of their 1st turn they are more than capable of tanking a lot of different attacks. I see a lot of people don't prioritize the right kind of orbs. They then go like, oh my god, my unit got blown up, how did that happen? Well, it's because you didn't get any of the orbs you were supposed to, and then they didn't fire any additional supers, and they fired 1 super, didn't activate their full passive, and didn't build themselves up at all. So of course they didn't work out. It's just very interesting to see people really not understand that in any way, shape or form. Then once you do get their 3 super attacks, you can activate their transform condition. This allows you to activate their standby mode. Now during their standby mode they will still be Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. It's very important to note this. But their functions will change, and here they become probably one of their best forms, in the sense that they have on their 18 key now raising superclass allies defense by 50%. They have flat damage reduction of 50%, no conditions required. They have an additional 50% attack and defense when performing a super. They have still the guaranteed super attack mechanic and the crit chance mechanic with the 2 orbs, so that's really good. And then of course they still have 50% support, which is great. So in this form, they're actually a lot tankier. 50% damage reduction, they usually have around 600-700k defense. They can do some good damage. And then at the end of this you get the big attack from Gamma 1, or Gamma 2, sorry, who obviously sacrificed himself, does some big damage, and then you're left with Gamma 1. And Gamma 1 has 15% damage reduction. He also gets an additional damage reduction of 15% when HP is 30% or lower, and 3 key and 150% attack and defense. He gets an additional 50% attack and defense when attacking. Now you might say, oh, but his damage reduction is his key, his attack and defense is lower, but this is not a huge problem for him. He creates INT key spheres, and now he can have 50% damage reduction in total if you add up all of his INT key spheres. So if he gets 5 INT key spheres, he'll have in total 65% damage reduction, which is really good. And he will raise superclass allies defense by 50% for 2 turns. So the Gamma 1 is, maybe not like a first slot unit or anything like that, but he's very strong defensively. 65% damage reduction is more than fine. He has great defense still after his super. And you also got to remember that now he is boosting your allies defense for 2 turns. So Gamma 1 is very good. A little bit different. They're not, all 3 forms are not first slot tanks. That's what people love, but that's not what they are. But all 3 forms are great 2nd slot units. They are great 3rd slot units. The big issue you have, ultimately at the end of the day, is linking partners. Their only good linking partners are Strength Gamma 1 and AGL Gamma 2. Now I'm going to preface this by saying that these 2 units actually hold their own way better than they should. Strength Gamma 1 if you have them rainbow, still honestly alongside these guys with the 50% support and everything, still functions pretty nuts, like really crazy. And the same with Gamma 2. So it's not like they're terrible. You do need dupes in them. When you have dupes in them, then when you run them with the LR, they're actually a ton of fun to run together. Besides that though, really the unit's great. They're great in a lot of good content, they're flexible, they're malleable. I think it's just the fact that people love running like the USS units inside of the superheroes team alongside Beast Gohan, that you don't really cater to the Gammas.